You're holding a Shimon Chaf Aleph, Sif Yud Gimel. Also, there's the Vash Machiveres. He's talking about honey that's still on honeycombs. You're allowed to use the honey on Shabbos. So also there, that's Vash Machiveres, and now I'll take out the honey from the Kiveres is the comb. It's not the comb. It's the hive. Kiveres is the hive. The combs are in the hive. Pirish Akansha Dvorim Oisim by Vash means the hives. It looks like toilish. It looks like you're taking off something that's mechuben, taking out the honey. Hagar says the Rama Badafka and Dvukim B'Kiveres. Only if it's attached to the hive. But if the honeycombs were taken off the hive from Erev Shabbos, or if they were crushed by Dvash Shaf B'Kiveres, and the honey is flowing out of the Kiveres, out of the hive, Mutal Doitze B'Shabbos, then you're allowed to take it out on Shabbos. So here in the Ramah's Mashma, we'll see the Magen Avraham in a second, but the Ramah's Mashma that once the honeycomb is off the hive, you're allowed to take out the honey from the comb on Shabbos. And the Magen Avraham doesn't like that. Let's see the Magen Avraham inside. Nitpesum b'Yayim, Meshach Nesrasku. Says the Magen Avraham, Mashma the Betlushim loy b'Yi Risuk. The mashma that if it's the honeycomb is off from the hive from before Shabbos, loy b'Yi Risuk, you don't need that the honeycomb should be crushed before Shabbos in order to use the honey. Al Gemara is Perek. What's the phrase again? Which Perek? First Perek is okay. Isa the b'Yi Risuk. The one says you have to have Risuk, you have to have crushed the comb, the honeycomb, in order to have the honey. Just like Zaysev Anovim, we said that you're not take anything out of the Zaysev Anovim on Shabbos. You're not squeeze out the oil or the juice, the grape juice from the olives or from the grapes. The same thing with honeycombs. You're not allowed to squeeze out the honey from the comb. It's doima to Zaysev Anovim. You're not allowed to squeeze it out on Shabbos. So why over here does the Magen Avraham say that then you're allowed to go ahead and take out the honey on Shabbos? That the Gemara and the Rambam both say, the Rambam like the Gemara over there, you're not allowed to take out the honey from the comb if it wasn't crushed before Shabbos. So says the Magen Avraham, he's going to explain Pshat in the Ramah. To who adin, even what it means is, explaining the Ramah, that when the chalos, the honeycombs, came off from Erev Shabbos, Yechiel lirdois hachalos makiveres, k'dei lechal dvash hadavuk agabav misav. What it means over here is, nitlushu means that were detached from the hive. Then you're allowed to take the honeycombs out of the hive. Once they're detached from the hive, it's not called toilish anymore, and you're allowed to take the combs out of the hive. But you're not allowed to squeeze out the honeycombs from the honey, because that's where it's chita. You're allowed to do that to eat the honey that's around the comb. Then you're allowed to eat on Shabbos. You're not allowed to squeeze it out. Or you're allowed to squeeze it out into food. We had already before in Hilchas Schita that if you squeeze something out into oichel, it's mutter. Because it's called oichel, it's not called a mashka. We had in Hilchas Schita, the only time Schita is aser is when you're taking out an oichel, a mashka from an oichel. But we're squeezing out a mashka onto another oichel, it's called oichel, and therefore it's mutter. So if you're allowed to take out the honeycomb from the hive on Shabbos, it's already nitlash, and then you're going to squeeze it out into a reichel.
The honey is not liquid inside the comb?
It is liquid, yeah.
So why you can't just pull it out?
No, just squeeze it out.
Oh, you have to squeeze
it out.
Seal.
It's sealed in the front.
There's a wax seal. It's all like
that's what holds it down then.
Yeah.
Oh, the seal. I see.
And then it says, Mutter Doise Pirish, Mutter Likach, Dvash Hatzaf. So I take the honey that's on top of the comb. I will also Likach HaChalos. You'd rather take the chalos, that's when it's still attached. But I advertise Rabbi Gimel Rish, Amid Beis, Raminan, the Gemara, the Dvash Meikar Uchlo B'Sef Uchlo. So now the Gemara has a kasha. The Gemara says that honey, Meikar Eichel, or the B'Sef Eichel. It's always called Eichel, even after it comes out, it's still called an Eichel. That's what the Gemara says. It's not called a mashke. It's about Novem, juice that comes out of it, it's called a mashke. This is called a Eichel. The Tzarchim, it didn't came, Lama Yigara, Yiperit Sa'oindim Lachila, the Mutter L'Seichtam, Kirich Ein Shem Mashke Olav. So the Magen Avraham has a kasha. If the Gemara says that honey, that honey is called an Eichel, so why can't you take it out the same way you're allowed to squeeze out Perit that are Oimdim Lachila, you're allowed to use the juice. So why by honeycombs, if the honey is called an eichel, why can't you squeeze out the honey from the comb? That's the Magen Avram's kasha. If you look at the Dagam Avava, he has a very simple teretz to the Magen Avram's kasha. The Dagam Avava says, Lo yadati makashaloi. I don't know what was bothering the Magen Avram. Tevada garam eperetz andim lachila. It's definitely worse for Peres Amdim Lachila. Amdim L'Schita. Peres Amdim Lachila, the reason why it's mutter to squeeze it out is because it's not meant to be squeezed out. You're meant to eat it pre. So we're squeezing out the juice. It's like taking out an Eichel from an Eichel. Avol Dvash, Oimid Lischot Min HaChalons. You can't eat the honey the way it is. You can only eat the honey after you extract it from the comb. So even though it's called an Eichel, says the Dagam Ravava, it's not the same as Peres Amdim Lachila, which is meant to be eaten without Schita. That's the Dagam Ravava's teretz to the Magen Avram's kasha. The Magen Avram obviously doesn't hold that teretz, and he says something else. Since the shaiva, which is the wax from the honeycomb, is any royal achila, havalei kibayir oichem b'seilis. It goes into the problem of bayir. We're not talking about Schita anymore. He says you may have a problem of bayir. When the cost of Simish and Chaf to pay, and the Livia Matter Sham Tzarchim Yashvoy, the one who's Matter over there, Oichem with Echpselis, in such a situation, then Tzarchim Yashvoy, and he blives Tzarchim on the Mechaber. Okay, that is the halacha of honey from the Giveres. Now let's get into the sugya of Lisha. So we'll see right away that the Shibur brings down a little bit of Akdama. So let's see that inside. The Shibur at Sif Chat and Nun brings down Akdama. Let's see the whole thing inside. We'll get a little clarity of the Sugya of Lisha. It says the Shibur, Emi Gavlin, Hine, Kaidim Shenavai Levar Divrei HaShulchan Aruch, before I come to explain the Shulchan Aruch, Nevarak Sas Inyan Lisha, I'll explain a little bit the Inyan of Lisha. Lisha, Hiachas Melamitas Avos Malachis. Lisha is one of the 39 Avos Malachis. Ve'inenu Dafka Yidei Mayim. It's not only through water. Lisha is also Dua de Midvash, for Shuman Aviz, honey, and Shuman Aviz is the fast from the ducks, Chol, Mine Mashkish, and Niloish, the Nitbach Al Yodam. Any type of mashka, but through that you can make something into like a dough. That is, any type of liquid that can make something into a dough is called lisha. Interesting, he says any mashka. Shuman avis, shuman is like oil. For some reason the person today holds that if you take mayonnaise and mix it with something, it's also called lisha. Mayonnaise is not a mashka. Mayonnaise is
like cream.
It's cream.
It takes oil.
Yeah, but it's not a mashke. You can't call it a liquid. Can't call it liquid. We'll see. Maybe later on we can arrive that even mayonnaise may be considered mashke. But from here, all we see is something that's a mashke mixed together with a salad, makes it into like an isha, like a dough. That's called lisha. But if you have something that's not a liquid, you have two solids that are mixed together, who says it's called lisha? Even though you're mixing it together, you're making it into a mixture, who said that's called lisha? For some reason the person say it is. I think we can use it maybe in the chocolate cooler. I don't know, argue on the person, but mayonnaise is mixed up with tuna fish or egg salad. All it's doing is it's staying the way it was. You're not making any. You're not forming any dough now.
Right.
It's just that the mayonnaise was always a glob. So now the eggs are going to mix into that. You're not creating a new thing. Pashas lisha means you have water and a solid, and you're creating a new thing. You're making a new thing together. That should be lisha.
Mayonnaise has already been kneaded. Because mayonnaise is oil and eggs.
So it's right together, yeah.
So isn't the making of mayonnaise lisha?
Maybe that could be. That could be. That could be. If you add something else to it, maybe, yeah. Then it's the same thing. But if you add... So, yeah, you're right, the making of the mayonnaise may be lisha, but now that you have the mayonnaise and you're adding something to it, I'm not sure why it's called lisha, but the price can do call it lisha. Fine, so that's any type of mashka. Hine. Ve'enyel lisha, kani bebraisa, we learned in the braisa begemara, dem echad noisim kemach, ve'echad noisim mayim, ha'achar chayiv divrei Rabbi. Rabbi holds, let's talk about a regular lisha. You have flour and water. Someone puts the flour, someone adds the water. Rabbi holds, even without mixing it. Without mixing it, right away, you're over because of lisha. Just the adding of the water already is lisha, according to Rabbi. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Eina chayiv ad sheyagabel. Rabbi Yehuda says, you're not chayiv until you mix it. So this is going to be this machlokes is going to be very negaya for us today. Machlokes Rabbi and Rabbi Yehuda. The Mechaber in the beginning goes with Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda. At the end, he brings a chumrah of Rabbi. Upasku Rabbi Peskim Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda. Achdas balat shrumois v'siyaita lipsek Rabbi b'yedei nisinis mayim. Once you just add the water, nikra gibol. It's already called gibol. Gibol means lisha. V'cholzeh, all this is b'kemach, b'ofar, b'tit, b'chayil adak, tu bar gibol. All this is talking about something that's a bar gibel. Bar gibel means something that you could knead. That you can make a dough out of it. So flour, dirt, you could make mud out of it. These things are called bar lisha. Kol kiyotzibuhu. Although bar gibel, something that's not a bar gibel, you can't make a dough out of it. You can go in afer, ashes, you add it with water. So just to actually flow around the water, it's not going to become one solid. Gas, sand, das Rambam the afim govlon poter mechatas. Even if you do a gibel, even if you mix it together, there's no chiv deraisa v'raki surah ikum. There is an iser d'rabbanan, and we'll see soon that lemaisa everything, even though it's not about gibel, something you can't make a dough out of it. For everything, there's an iser d'rabbanan. So you have a lot of things that we mix today. It's not about gibel. You can't make a dough out of it. Most of the things that we mix today on Shabbos is not about gibel. Eggs and mayonnaise is not about gibel. You're not making a dough out of it. It's not called the bar gibel. But since you mix it together, it becomes one piece. So we ask it midrabanan. It's not chiv deraisa. A chiv deraisa is something that you mix it together, it becomes a new entity, it becomes a new thing, becomes a dough. But that's Harbi Rishonim Lepech. They hold the opposite. To the Davar the Lav Bar Gibel, something that it's not about Gibel, you can't make it into one unit. After Rabbi Yechiel, Rabbi Yehuda loy boye Gibel, you don't have to mix it. Umishenosan by Mayim Chayiv Zehu Gibuloi. That is its Gibel.
What's the part for that?
Yeah.
Seems like a very opposite.
Yeah. It is opposite svara.
Completely opposite.
Yeah, and the reason is because we're talking about the Rabbanans.
Yeah.
you're not allowed to do something, mix something together with the Rabbanon. Now, these things, if you mix it together, it doesn't become one unit. So just adding the water already, you're finished. It's only Issa D'Rabbanan. It looks like you're making a dough. So just adding the water already, you're finished.
We have a chumrah here.
Right. You end up having a chumrah. So it's not about gibel. We still answer it. We can't do it. But the mixing it doesn't help much. Once you put the water in, it mixes by itself already. It's not about gibel, and it's already together.
You don't need the.
You don't need. That's a story. You don't need the mixing it afterwards.
But if you're already going to be machmer on it, then you don't need the additional step.
Correct. We happen not to pass on that way. We pass on that adding the water by davar she'ein by gibel is not also according to Beis Rabbi Yehuda. We hold that we make it even by ein by gibel. So that's the machlokes of Beis Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi.
When you say make, you mean it's not even an Isser D'Rabbanan, or it's just...
No, it's just a D'Rabbanan.
But not an...
No, if you add the water itself, it's not even Isser D'Rabbanan, only once you mix it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, correct. According to Beis Rabbi Yehuda,
mixing
that causes the problem.
Oh.
Correct. According to Beis Rabbi Yehuda, it's the actual mixing that causes the problem. According to Rabbi, once you add the water, you already have an issue, you already have a problem of lisha.
But something that's lav bar gibel, how do we hold that?
We hold like a Beis Rabbi Yehuda.
It's like Rambam.
Like the Rambam. Yeah, I'm sorry. We hold that if there is lav bar gibel, you still have to do a gibel. You still have to mix it.
Then it's a D'Rabbanan.
It's a D'Rabbanan, yeah. Anything that's lav bar gibel is an Issa D'Rabbanan, for sure.
Right.
Anything that's lav bar gibel is an Issa D'Rabbanan. The question is, the Issa D'Rabbanan is only once I did a gibel, or even just when you add the water.
And for sure, something that is a davar, if you have something that's bar gibel, then for sure.
Yeah, something that's a bar gibel, according to Rabbi, it's an Issa D'Oraisa when you add the water. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's only an Issa D'Oraisa when you mix it.
But he'll say to the Rabbanan, will he agree with...
When you add the water by itself?
Yeah.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't know if Rabbi Yehuda holds it Issa D'Oraisa even. Could be a tougher.
According to Rabbi Yehuda, just adding the water is...
It could be that.
So, something practical, a lav bar gibel, is that something like a cereal?
Yeah, cereal and
milk.
Cereal and milk, not really, because they don't get mixed together. See, there's big pieces. Baby cereal, maybe. You know, the stuff you make for the oatmeal. Oatmeal is something which is maybe called lav bar gibel.
No, oatmeal could...
I don't know if it's called bar gibel. Because
when you add like milk to the oatmeal.
You add milk, or even if you add the water to the oatmeal, what's happening? The oatmeal is not melting and coming into a dough. Now, don't forget, bar gibel means flour, something like flour.
Right.
You add water, the pieces aren't there anymore. It melts into the water. By oatmeal, when you make an oatmeal, you add hot water to it. The oatmeal is not melting into the water; it's staying in pieces.
So just to make this clear, I mean, we're talking about two categories, gibel and bar gibel,
Right.
Lav bar gibel. But if you add water to jelly beans, it's very clear that nothing is taking place.
Correct.
That's right.
And we'll see later on.
Jelly beans, right?
Any big pieces. Right.
So would you call that lav bar gibel?
No, that's nothing.
Or that's nothing at all?
That's nothing. That's mutter in every way.
Right. In the discussion here, we're saying that if we're talking about, let's say, so if you have, let's say, you take milk and you put it into Rice Krispies.
Yeah, that's called. It's nothing.
That's nothing. That's like water and jelly beans.
Right. That's not even. We'll see later on. Anything that has big pieces.
Right.
Is not called lisha b'chlal.
So
it's what to do whatever you want.
The need is to try to understand what's the difference between gibel and lav bar gibel.
Yeah, gibel. So I'm saying let's make it three levels. Bar gibel means when you add, for example, the perfect example is flour. Flour and water. The flour melts into the water, and now it becomes one big mixture of
that would be
the whole.
So if you take earth, dust,
and
put water on it,
put water, that's also gibel. That's bar gibel.
That's
a bar gibel. But if you take anything that's processed, usually, like oatmeal, even kemach koli, the Mechaber says, kemach koli is flour that was roasted. Roasted flour doesn't melt in the water. So it's called a lav bar gibel, shtisa. These things that are processed already, when you add it to water, it doesn't melt. You may mix it together with water, and the thing may stick together, but it's not called a bar gibel. Like the oatmeal is a perfect example. That's probably like shtisa. It's something you mix the water and that together. They may unite as one, but it's not changing what it was till now. It's oatmeal that's stuck together with the water.
So on the other side of the spectrum, when you dissolve something in water, that's nothing as well.
I mean, that's called dissolving something in water. It's Baruch Gibel.
So coffee?
It's something else, because there you have so much water.
Hold on, I don't understand that statement. I thought that the end had to be like flour, that you had to have a mass in front of you.
Right. So if you're going to take
dissolve something, then
if you dissolve something in water, but it's thick, that's called an isa. If you let's say make
it's gone. You have
because that's water. Because there's a lot of water. So let's say you would take coffee and add a drop of water to it and make it a thick mixture. That would be Baruch Gibel. You don't do that. Because you add a drop of coffee with a lot of water.
So is that the heter of when you start talking about Ava versus Raka?
Yeah, Ava and Raka, no. Raka is that it's a glob. Coffee is not even a glob, it's nothing. It's water. It's liquid. It's even better than Raka. Belila Raka and Ava will get to. Belila Ava means it's thick. It means one like a dough. And Belila Raka means it's a mixture, it's thick, but you can pour it. But it's not water. It's not a liquid. You don't drink it. Make it this way. The difference is, Belila Raka, you can't drink it. You can't drink a Belila Raka. It's tough to eat it. Anything that you drink,
but you can pour it.
And you can pour it, right? You can pour it. That's the whole thing. The whole thing won't come out of one big piece.
Right.
Come out of pieces.
So it's like dough versus
pancake. Porridge.
Pancake.
Right. Right. Pancake mix or anything. Any hot cereal you have. Any hot cereal that you have.
Yeah.
Right? That's a Belila Raka. That's a Belila Raka. It pours. But you can't drink it. You have to eat it with a spoon. You have to eat it.
So
that's
soup. You know the soup.
No, that's not Belila Raka. Anything you drink is not called Lisha.
So so this is where there are three categories.
Right. There's Ava, which is Raka, and something that's not even Raka. That's not even the Parsha of Lisha.
You know what's in the water?
Three categories where you have a Baruch Gibel, Lav Baruch Gibel, and then you have a nothing.
Yeah, and then, right, the other thing, right. So one second, so, right, it depends which way you're going.
No.
There's three categories.
We
start with the Baruch Gibel. Yeah, we still have three categories, but in the third category, you go both ways.
Which
is, there is something that's a Gibel, Baruch Gibel, which is like a dough. Lav Baruch Gibel is like, let's say, hot cereal. And then, the third category, you go either way. Either it's a liquid, so it's not Lisha B'chlal, or it's such thick pieces that it's not called united as one. It's thick pieces. For example, a salad. You make a salad. That's the case of the Magen Avraham later on. You make a salad, and you add the liquid to it. It doesn't become one unit. So that's also not called Lisha.
What is it called?
That's not Lisha. It's nothing.
Oh, so just again, practically, for example, you have the like the Quaker Oats
right, instant.
Instant, and you add hot water.
Right, that's Lav Baruch Gibel. That's a Lav Baruch Gibel.
Lav Baruch Gibel.
If you have potato powder and you add water to it, that may be called the Baruch Gibel. If you have like powdered potatoes, right? It's a powder, and you add water to it, then it becomes a thick mixture. That may be called Baruch Gibel.
Why isn't the oatmeal Baruch Gibel?
Because the oatmeal is not melting into the water. The oatmeal pieces are staying oatmeal pieces. It's being held together through the water now. Yeah, but it's not melted into the water.
The Gibel becomes something else.
Right, it becomes a new entity. Something that's a Baruch Gibel, we'll look at something that becomes a new entity. Dough becomes a new entity. You mix the flour and water, you have a new entity now. When you mix oatmeal and water, you look at it, you have oatmeal and water still. That's what you have. It happens to be holding together.
Now, before you had a liquid and a dry, two entities.
Right.
You mix it together, now you have a paste.
Correct.
I would have thought that would be...
No, even though it's a paste, but it's not a dough. It's not a new entity. It's oatmeal pieces that are being held together by the water. That's what it is, basically. That's a Lav Baruch Gibel.
There's an equivalent to this in chemistry, isn't there? Like, when two mixtures become a third mixture, like a solvent.
The case of Kemach Koli. Kemach koli is a perfect example of oatmeal. Kemach koli is processed flour. It's roasted flour.
Just the koli part, which we see is enough. Makes enough to
Koli is an example
Of lav bar gibel. Koli is an example of lav bar gibel. So you have a bar gibel, it's a lav bar gibel, then you have two other categories. Each way, one is a liquid, a full liquid, so it's not gibel at all, and one is a full solid. It's not being held together at all. You just add water to a salad, you add oil to a salad, that's called, later on we'll see, it's not a problem at all.
Okay, so that then all of it, the instant coffee, the porridge, the hot oatmeal, all of them don't come into the parsha of the lav bar.
Yeah,
not even lav bar.
No, it's not true. The hot cereal becomes a fixed thing. It's different than coffee. Coffee is a liquid. Coffee you drink.
Okay, so
coffee, you add sugar, you add salt, something, you add coffee to water. There's no shaykhs to lisha. That's still a liquid. You're drinking it.
But hot cereal is still a problem.
Hot cereal is a problem. Hot cereal is a lav bar gibel, but it's called lisha. And the way you can look at it, something you eat. That's called a lav bar gibel, but it's lisha. Something you drink, it's not called a. It's not called a bar gibel. Fine. So now, that's one thing we have to know. What's called the bar gibel and lav bar gibel. Now, something that's a lav bar gibel, the matter to do it with the shinui. The shinui that Mechaber brings down over here in Sifir Dalet is a shinui of ma'at ma'at. You're allowed to do a little bit at a time. That's a shinui the Gemara brings down. You're not making a big thing. Ma'at ma'at means whatever I'm eating now, I mix it and I want to eat it, it's mutter. A small amount at a time is mutter ma'at ma'at. That's a shinui. There's another shinui that's not put down here b'chlal. It's brought down Shin Chav Dalet. That's called the famous shinui that we all know of, Shasi ve'erev. When you mix it, you don't mix it regular. You mix it with a shinui. Shasi ve'erev means up and down, around, left, horizontal and vertical, separately. You don't mix it like you're mixing a regular thing. So it's not called. That's called a shinui. That's called a shinui, and that's mutter. By where? By something that's in a bar gibel. It's mutter. So you have a shinui of ma'at ma'at, and you have a shinui of shesed ve'ev. So in this next few halachas, we're not going to speak about the chiluk, the shinui of shesed ve'ev, because it's not brought down at this segment. It's only brought down at Siman Shin Chav Dalet. But any time there is a heter of ma'at ma'at in this siman, you also have a heter of shesed ve'ev. I'm kind of very busy why it's only brought down over there. Some of my friends want to say that the heter of shesed ve'ev is only by, they're just talking about animal food. It's only a heter by Michel Behema. It's not a heter by Michel Adam. The Michel says before a few times that the heter of Shasi ve'erev, whenever we have a heter of ma'at ma'at, we could also use the heter of Shasi ve'erev.
Is it dafke? I mean, Shasi ve'erev is very specific, right? You have it by Shabbos, by weaving, right? So specifically, this is I mean,
yeah, Shasi is up and down.
Right.
You go up and then go down this way, up and down and right to left.
So if it was diagonal,
it doesn't make a difference as long as you don't make it in a circle.
Okay.
As long as you don't mix it in a circle, you're okay.
It's called Shasi
ve'erev. Shasi is a vertical and erev is horizontal.
Woof and
yeah, but the little type of Shasi ve'erev means Shasi means up and down, vertical, and erev means horizontal. It happens to be in the loom. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
But Shasi ve'erev is
the secret refers to crisscross. They call it
crisscross. Yeah.
Page 205.
Does it have to be?
Yeah, cross is called the Shasi ve'erev.
Yeah,
that's what they call it.
Yeah.
Because.
So what about a different shinui? You know, whether you use your finger or
so
the back of the spoon. Now, is it only specific these kind of?
So see, the Ramah brings down a different shinui of not using a spoon, Michel, using a finger. Yeah, or the which brings down you shake it.
Right. So it's not dafka these two.
Correct. A shinui. A shinui. We'll see it. The shinui in the mixing. But we'll see. It's not so partial. The shinui is going to work in the mixing. At the end, when we come out, that anything that's a balila ava. It's a thick mixture. It's not so partial, any shin is going to help. We'll get to that in Sif Zion. That means, let's figure out the whole picture now. Don't see it somewhere else. Otherwise, we get confused what's going on. That means the Mechaber in the first two Sifim holds that we hold like a Rabbi Yehuda, that adding water is not the lisha itself, not the chiv lisha. The chiv lisha is the mixing. If you hold like a Rabbi Yehuda, that the chiv lisha is the mixing, so something that's not about gibel, and will let you mix it with a shinui. So it's not about gibel, it's only Issa D'Rabbanan, so you mix it with a shinui. Right? That's the heter. If you hold like Rabbi, that the adding of the water is already the lisha, so then it's not going to help to go ahead and make a shinui in the mixing. Because you already over on the Isser. You already did the Isser when you added the water. So according to Rabbi, a shinui is not going to help. This first Sif Yudal that's Vav in the beginning of Zion that hold that a shinui ma'at works is only if you're going like a Rabbi Yehuda, who he holds that the Isser Lisha is the mixing. So therefore, in the mixing, I can make a shinui.
But didn't we say that this machlokes is only in Lav Bar Gibel? In other words, in Gibel, everybody holds there would be no machlokes between Rabbi and
no substance. Someone's a Bar Gibel, that's what the main machlokes is. A Lav Bar Gibel, we saw a shitta that holds that even Rabbi Yehuda is masking to Rabbi. We don't go with that. So we're going Bar Gibel and Lav Bar Gibel are the same thing. According to Rabbi Yehuda, the issue is only the mixing, not the adding of the water.
So the same machlokes that we have between Rabbi and Rabbi Yehuda.
By Gibel, we have a Lav Bar Gibel. Correct.
As well.
Because if we hold that Rabbi Yehuda is masking Lav Bar Gibel, then the halachas don't start. Because then everyone's adding the water is a problem. So we hold that Lav Bar Gibel and Bar Gibel, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the issue is in the mixing. The issue is in the mixing, you can make a shinui in the mixing. If you hold like Rabbi, that the issue is they're adding the water, so that a shinui in the mixing is too late already. You're already over the issue by just adding the water. So that will be in Sif Zion. We'll see the Mechaber says that it doesn't help any shinui. If you're adding water, if it's even if it's Lav Bar Gibel, it's awesome. Period. No shinui is going to help. But that is only by a Belila Ava, by a thick mixture. By a Belila Raka, by a thin mixture, something that you can pour. Over there, we're going to hold that even if you hold like Rabbi, but a Belila Raka is not called Lisha, and therefore it's mutter to do it with the shinui. That will be the chiluk at the end. To Belila Ava and Belila Raka.
So that's like coffee.
No. Belila Raka is a lot of things we do today. So it's pours. It pours. A hot cereal is called Belila Raka, let's say. But the oatmeal is called Belila Ava. It's a thick thing. That'll be a difference.
So what about the kasha we had by Tochen? We said before, when do we find that shinui, if you have an Issa D'Rabbanan, that with a shinui you're going to be matter in that. We said that. So by Tochen we said, no. Because when you do the shinui, you're taking it out of the parsha of Tochen.
Right.
But otherwise, you don't see anywhere that you can remove an Issa D'Rabbanan just by doing the shinui.
Issa D'Rice.
But here,
Issa D'Rice. Here's Issa D'Rabbanan. It's Lav Bar Gibel. So Lav Bar Gibel, so Issa D'Rabbanan right away.
And then a shinui.
And then we matter with the shinui.
So that
Issa D'Rice, so a shinui doesn't work. Issa D'Rice to do with the tchila with the shinui doesn't work.
Okay, so now we're saying that it's lisha, but it's a
D'Rabbanan because Lav Bar Gibel. So it's a Lav Bar Gibel, so
now shinui is going to help.
Now shinui is going to help.
So I've seen some people when they have cereal on Shabbos, they pour the milk, even cold cereal. They pour milk into the bowl first, and then they pour the cereal in.
Because of lisha.
I'm saying, is this because of Rebbe's opinion?
Yeah, it could be.
Because then you have a shinui in the then you have a shinui in the pot. You're not pouring.
Yeah, but it has to be called Belila Raka. And Belila Ava it won't help you.
No, so I mean regular cereal.
It's called Belila Raka. I don't know. I don't call it Belila Bachal. Regular cereal is big pieces. I don't know if it's called the Belila Bachal.
I don't either.
Yeah, if you want to be machmer, maybe. I don't know if you have to be machmer cereal. Cereal is called big pieces. Even Rice Krispies, a small cereal, it's called pieces. It's not called. It doesn't. I wouldn't say it's called Elisha. Okay, now let's see the Mechaber inside. I think we have these few guidelines. We'll be able to pull through. At least see a few dollars. Says the Mechaber, Ein Megavlin Kemach Koli Harbe. You can't Megavlin. It says over here in the parentheses, Sinis Mayim Bekemach Nikra Gibel. Putting water into flour is called Gibel, but the Mishnah says it's not true. If you look in the Mishnah over here, this is cut in an olive. It says Nesinis Mayim Hay Lishna Lav Dafka. This lashon of just pouring water into Kemach is Lav Dafka. Da Mechaber Ayri Pai Kalisha Gemura Shenoisin Hamayim Umegaben. You pour the water and you're mixing it. And after the Kach, the Sharatzian wants to say that whoever put in these parentheses here, if you look in the Sharatzian, see it's and Samach Aleph all the way at the end of it. He says, Achach Matzah Shechen Kosov Nishmas Adam She'ezeh Talmud Toyo Hegia came with Shulchan Aruch. There's not the more. This parentheses was added by somebody, and if some Talmud Toyo, Talmud made a mistake, put it in. So the Mishnah says when it says Ein Megavlin, it means real gibel, mixing it together. It doesn't mean just to add the water. So Ein Megavlin Kemach Koli Habe, you can't mix together a lot of Kemach Koli, which is Ein Bar Gibel. Why? Shema Yavai Lalush Kemach She'ena Koli. Because it may come to mix together Kemach, flour, which is not roasted, and it's Exera. Umutter the Gabel as a Koli Ma'at Ma'at. You could mix together Kemach Koli, which is flour, which is roasted, which is Lava Gibel. You could do it Ma'at Ma'at. What's Ma'at Ma'at? Ma'at Ma'at means a Shinui. We said Ma'at, anytime you have Ma'at Ma'at, the same thing would be Shasi Ve'eriv, also Mutter. So you rather take Kemach Koli, which is Lava Gibel, mix it together on Shabbos as long as you're doing it with a shinui. Then it's mutter.
And the shinui is the miyat miyat.
And the shinui is ma'at ma'at, yes.
Okay, but we don't know exactly how much miyat miyat.
Correct. We don't know exactly how much ma'at ma'at is. And the person today happened not to go with this shinui ma'at ma'at. They usually use the shinui of Shasi Ve'eriv. Because ma'at ma'at, you don't know exactly what it is. So this halacha that says, okay, ma'at ma'at, will say it's mutter if you do it with the shinui of Shasi Ve'eriv. Yeah, that's a shinui over here. And this is a belila ava. Even a thick mixture is saying is mutter. Here we're saying kemach koli that mixed together. Even a thick mixture is mutter if you're doing it with the shinui of ma'at ma'at or Shasi Ve'eriv.
This may be a very basic question. So, what is it that makes kemach koli different than a regular kemach?
Because Laban Gibel, the way it's mixed together.
The nature of it?
Correct.
It doesn't dissolve in the mixture.
Correct. It doesn't dissolve. It doesn't become a new entity. Let's keep it at that. That's a chiluk between Bar Gibel and Laban Gibel. Every Bar Gibel, you mix it together, it becomes a new entity. Laban Gibel, it may mix together, it may become a glob, but it's not a new thing.
And Koli is Laban Gibel.
And Koli is Laban Gibel. Pashtas. So here it's mutter to do it, ma'at ma'at, which means through a shinui you're not to mix something that's not about gibel. Aval tfuah shelo hevi shlish, tfuah which didn't bring which is not grown a shlish, a kalu oisa, which you roasted it, achat tachnu oisa, then you ground it up, tchina gasa. Tchina gasa means a thicker tchina, it's not such small pieces. Sharei kachayil, v'yen ikra shtisa, this is called shtisa. Mutter legavel mimena b'chaymitz, b'chayetze boy, have b'vatzachas. They let it mix together a lot at one time. And here, that means without a shinui. They let it mix a lot together without a shinui. V'hu sheyeh rach. Here, it's only if it's rach. If it's a belila raka. If it's a belila ava, even shtisa, you can't do it without a shinui. Is that clear? Kemach koli. Even if it's rach, it's not going to help unless you have a shinui. Shtisa, says the Mechaber, which is thicker and coarser than kemach kali. There, if it's belila raka, it's mutter to mix it, even without a shinui. Aval, kosher, osir. If it's belila ava, if it's thick, hard, it's also to do it unless you have ma'at ma'at. Kosher also here means, doesn't also legamri. It means also to do a lot. Look at the Mishbur, I think he speaks it out. It says, Ava kosher also, look at the Mishbur Sifkan involved. Ava kosher also, rotaloi maharbe. Ava ma'at ma'at mutter uchma el b'kemach kali. Ma'at is not any different than kemach kali. Shtisa is more kal, is more lenient than kemach kali. Kemach kali, we said, ma'at ma'at is always mutter, ben av, ben rach, ben av, ben raka. But shtisa is mutter raka even with the arashini harbe, but kosher also with arashini. Ufnei shenira kalosh. It looks like losh. Now says the Rechaber, Rafil Barach, even when you're doing it, raka sarach l'shanis. You have to make a shinui, not in the etzem lisha, but in how you put in the water and the shtisa together. Ketzad, noisin es shtisa, v'achach noisin es achomitz. First you put the shtisa and then you put the vinegar. Usually they put the vinegar first and then the shtisa. Here you have to do it. Huh? Right. That's what he says. We'll see in a second. It depends on each thing by itself. So here, basically, what the Mechaber here is saying is that kemach koli, which is labar gibel, there's no hefter when it's rach. When it's soft, when it's even though it's blue raka, there's no hefter without a shinui. You have to have a shinui ma'at ma'at. That's bein ava and bein raka. Shtisa was more kal, then you could do it without a shinui in the gibel, but in the mixing it originally, then you have to have a shinui. Says the Magen Avraham, Kemach she'enei koli, tzigzeinu alto kemach she'enei koli, v'zeh afilu ma'at ma'at aser, but kemach she'enei koli, even with the shinui it's aser. Why? Because that's real gibel, that's regular lisha. Umuta v'gabel, the svir lei, why could you be v'gabel it? The svir lei, the noisin mayim l'kemach, einei chayiv achi gabel. Who is that? Rabbi Yehuda, who holds there's no issue of just pouring the water. So here, when it's any bar gibel, we'll let you do a shinui in the mixing. Lefika chacha kimishana begibel shari kivin the lav bar gibel who, since kemach kol is not called the bar gibel, therefore we'll let you make a shinui in the mixing. Pasha Eke, we'll see later on in Tifta Zayin, if you're like Rabbi, it's not going to help a shinui in the mixing because it's already too late. Fine, your test. But shtisa is like chol. Shtisa is a much thicker, much coarser thing, and therefore it's like chol, and therefore it's mutter belila raka without a shinui in the mixing. Harav l'shetafsei ozer shekasav seperchet amagabel be'efe ereza told was losh. Ve'ein gibel be'ofar v'loi b'chol hagas. Should be efe really. V'loi b'chol hagas v'loi b'mursin. V'loi b'chir tzibem. There's no gibel of these things. There's no gibel, and therefore it's mutter. V'arayvet cholik be'ein shlei amru ofar ene b'gibel ela efe ene b'gibel ela she'ene mechutz gibel. It doesn't need gibel. Over the seas mayim levad chayiv. This was the shita we saw in the Mishnah before, that something that's not about gibel, it's even worse, and just adding water is aser. The Rabbi holds that way. Chendas achronim, ayin sim and tavkov zayin, the shimish and mem sifid beis over there. The Mechaber Paskin is not like the Rabbi, and he holds something that's not about gibel is not worse. So if it's not about gibel, we don't say the water itself asers it. We say you have to mix it, you have to gobble it in order for it to become aser. The Li says the Magen Avraham, the Oser lahashten al tit mishum gibel, ayin sim mishum chav sifidalin, yala b'mashten on urinate on tit because it ends up mixing it, and that it becomes gibel. So that's the Mechaber over here. If you look in the Taz, Sifkan Yud Aleph, Taz says, Tchina Gatsa Shareu Kachol. So the Rambam was mechalek between Shtisa and Kemach Koli. The Rambam says Kemach Koli, it's not about Gibel, but Raka is also unless you have a shinui. Says the Taz, that's the Shittas Rambam, V'atur yesh l'shita acheres, v'pirish Rashi, v'kosav v'rav Magid, shkehizkim v'ramban, v'ashba, but the two, according to the Tur, afilu b'reisha, even in the case of Kemach Koli, yesh chiluk ben Ava l'Raka. Even in Kemach Koli, there's a difference between Ava and Raka. The Raka is mutter without a shinui. The Ava also b'harbe without a shinui. The Raka mutter b'harbe, it's mutter to do a lot. By yedei shinui. It's not, we don't find it by us. So he says a raka is mutter and the ava is asr. Now, if we're going to say
he's quoting
this is the Torah.
Rambam in the Torah when he's quoting.
No, the Rambam says that by Kemach Koli, raka.
So Harav is the Rambam.
Right, and the Torah argues. And it's going to be a big nafkamina Allah Lamaisa because we're going to see later on when it said ava, we're not going to be matter so easily. A thick mixture, we're not going to be matter so easily. Raka will be no makelar. So according to the Torah, raka, you don't even need a shinui in mixing it. Any type of raka. You don't have to without kemach kali or stisa. Anything that's raka that we're going to be matter, you mix it, you add the water first, or whichever the shinui is. But then when you're mixing it, you don't have to be careful how you mix it. Because we're going to hold that something that's raka, that's lava gibel, in all cases, it's a mutter to mix it. You don't need a shinui. Like the Torah. I think the Mishnah brings it down. No, they pass it like the Torah. We're going to be Michel, and we're going to hold that anything that's a belila raka, it's mutter to mix in a Shabbos. You may have to do a shinui while you add first, but you don't have to have a shinui in the gibul itself. Says the Taz weiter, I will nearly learn my din echad chodosh v'shittas Rambam. The Hainu, which is a kemach she'oisim with chinas matzah fuya, the kemach that you make from matzah fuya, which is called matzah meal. I'm assuming you didn't do this on Pesach. I can't imagine making brachs. V'yigirim la'arva im yayin, and they used to mix it together with wine and made dvash or honey. Shekoyim med. Shezeh also la'taisis v'Shabbos. You can't do it on Shabbos. So he's saying matzah meal is a perfect example of kemach koli. Matzah meal is not a real lisha, even if you can make neidlach out of it, right? It's not called the real lisha. That's called einer bar gibel.
Is that because it's already been roasted?
Because kemach koli, it's already roasted. So when you mix it together with the eggs, whatever you mix it with, the reason why it's staying stuck together is not because the pieces are melting and becoming part of the water. It's being held together through oil and eggs are being held together. That's einer bar gibel. Everything we're going to have today that we use on Shabbos is einer bar gibel. So he says, so there's a heter for what? For belila raka. We're not talking about belila ava. Belila ava, we'll see later on, maybe its own problem. But even belila raka, says the Taz, she said, also, as I said, Shabbos, I feel the baraka. Why? The Fia Nira, din kemach zeh, the kemach anitzke kan, tchina gasa. That's the shtisa. Uman the mutter baraka, anybody is mutter by belila raka, well, they shinui. You have to have a shinui that watch a bechoil, derech liter achoy mitz tchilo. By shtisa, usually you put the vinegar first. For b'Shabbos, noisin a kemach tchilo, and Shabbos you have to put the kemach, the flour first. Nimta she'ashinu yigolin akoil. Everybody sees the difference. Avo b'kemach shal matzah, ain't derech yidua ma'anois and tchila b'chol. Everyone does what they want. During the week, some people add the the kemach first, some people add the other stuff first. There's no set way of how you do it. So therefore, what are you going to say? On Shabbos, you do it with shinui. There's no shinui. There's no way, there's no derech you do a manos in tchila b'chol, because they lay down mahu shinui. What the shinui is on Shabbos. Alkein, osir b'Shabbos b'chol gavli, sheratzu l'Harav, b'saken b'kaf, ha'kemach, ha'matzah, ha'mashket, kein l'fini yisaytim. Says the Taz, it's osir. So if you don't know which way is the usual way, even below the raka, that will matter by adding the chayvitz first and then the stisa, if you don't have a way of doing it usual, then it's awesome.
So does it go on the individual? In other words, I know how I do it every
No, not individual. The way people do it. It has to be a thing that everybody does it the same way, and you're doing it differently on Shabbos. You're doing it differently on Shabbos. The Rabbi argues, if you look in the Mishnah Berurah here, Sif Cotton and Zion, reads from the Rabbi that argues, he brings down the Taz, Mafil Baruch, Mishnah Berurah Sif Cotton and Zion, Mafil Baruch. I am the Taz, Shtekosov, the Osel, the Arab, Shabbos, and Pesach, Kemach, with Kres Matzah, Fuya, didn't know B'yayin, and made Vash, after the made Dom, the Shtisa, Shutchin, the Gatsa, Shamut, the Baraka, Hainag, the Shinda, V'Kemach, Zeh, Yidua, Manos, and Tchila, V'Chol, fine. But el-liyu Rabbi Kosav, dem Yedua, Yasa Shinui de Mefash B'Gemara. This is dem Ein Yedua. If it's not known what the Shinui is, says the el-liyu Rabbi, what should you do? Yasa Shinui de Mefash B'Gemara, Sheyiten HaMichel Tchila, V'Achakach HaMashche. Put in the Michel first, and then put the Mashche. It seems like every belila raka that they used to make, they used to first pour in the liquid, and then add the solid. So if there's no way of doing it, everyone does it whichever way they want. Says the el-liyu Rabbi, what you should do is on Shabbos, first put the liquid, and then put in the solid. Even though some people do that during the week, still that's the heter. Do the shitting in the Gemara. Taz says everyone does what they want, so you can't use it. There's no shitting b'chlal. The el-liyu Rabbi says no, it's still mutter, and do the shitting that the Gemara says. So here he says, this is only if you're not going to do a shinui in the mixing itself. This whole thing that we said now, with the matzah and the mud, that we said that's what it's called, the mud.
Mead.
What?
Mead.
Mead it's called? So the mead, so there, it's because you're not doing any shinui in the mixing. But if you do a shinui in the mixing itself, that's happens that we have a heter. Even if it's blue ava, we have a heter. Says the Mishnah Berurah. Therefore, it's better for Tov L'Hachmir that you should make a shinui in the mixing itself. But this is only something they have to mix. Something they don't have to mix. So blue raka, they pour the water and whatever it is and mix it by itself. You don't have to mix it. That's not going to help us to go Shesi Ve'erev. Because when you're fooling, you don't have to mix it. But something that has to be mixed, you're better off doing a shinui in the, after you put it together, to do a shinui in the etzem lisha. Fine. Let's see if you balance. Is that clear? As clear as mud? Meat?
What about a mixture of kemach kali and kemach? Like if you let's say they're mixed together.
The regular kemach kali? I don't know. It's called about Gimel because of the.
So could you get around it by putting a little bit of
kemach kali into it? Okay, but who makes today something with flour on Shabbos? Real gibel. Is it common to have today a real gibel? Everything is lab by gibel.
You might want to thicken something.
Great.
Right. If you add flour, they do have sauces already.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
Right.
That can be a problem. But that's blue raka. It's not blue ava. Blue raka, maybe it's more kal, even though it's a bar gibel. Even if it's bar gibel, maybe it's more kal.
Could you do a sikul on the difference between kemach kali and shtisa?
Kemach kali, both of them ain't about gibels. Kemach kali and shtisa both something that's called a not bar gibel. They're both not the Reises, only the Rabbonans. The Rambam holds that the reason why the Rambam says because there's Spiro in the Gemara with Spisa and Kemach Koli. So the Rambam says that Kemach Koli and Spisa don't have the same dinim. That means Kemach Koli is more chomer than Spisa, and Kemach Koli will only matter with a shinui. Whether it's Raka, whether it's Ava. Whether it's Belila Raka, whether it's Belila Ava, will only matter with a shinui. The Gemara says that Spisa is mutter even without a shinui. Belila Raka is mutter even without a shinui. I'm talking about a shinui in the mixing it. You have to have a shinui in the pouring it together. But in the mixing it, you don't need a shinui. You do any type of mixing you want. That's by Shtitza. The Gemara says that by Shtitza, the Belila Raka is mutter without any shinui. The Rambam says that only applies to Shtitza. Kemach Koli, it's not going to apply to. That's more doima to regular Kemach. It's more similar to regular Kemach, and therefore it's also even Belila Raka unless you're doing a shinui in the mixing. And the shinui they're bringing down is ma'at ma'at. The Tur argues, and the Tur says, others trying to also hold up the Tur, and he says that no, there's no difference between Kemach Koli and Spisa. They both have the same halacha, that by Belila Raka, you don't need a shinui in the mixing it. You need a shinui in how you're pouring it. But in the mixing it, after you pour them together, how you mix it, you don't need any shinui. That's the Torah. And that's the pashas how we go. So when you do Belila Raka, you don't need a shinui.
For the Torah, he would say it would also be aser.
Belila Ava for sure. Belila Ava you have to have a shinui. For Belila Ava you always have to have a shinui. Belila Raka is a difference. Is there a heta of Belila Raka by itself without a shinui by Kemach Koli? That's the machlokes.
So it's only the Rambam that differentiates with
Shtitza and Kemach Koli, correct. The Michel brings out the Lashon Rambam.
By Raka, why do you need a shinui in the pouring?
So the Gemara says, even though it's Raka, and you don't need a shinui in the mixing it, but you have to have a shinui in the pouring it, the way you're putting it together.
Why?
So that's exactly the Rabban. It's exactly the Rabban.
Because that's not going according to Rebbe.
According to Rabbi,
That's not. I mean, it sounds like it's going according to Rebbe.
no, according to
Rebbe holds that
Rabbi,
as soon as you pour.
no, that would work according to Rabbi.
I understand, but then if you were going by Raka according to Rebbe, you would need
Difference how you do it.
You would need a shinu in the pouring with everything to go according to Rebbe.
Right.
Obviously you don't.
According to Rabbi, you do need a shinu by Raka.
I understand. But
Raka is
but we don't pass it like that. We only pass it that you need a shinu in the pouring when it comes to Raka. We don't need a shinu in the pouring when it comes to Abba.
Because they have a shinu in the mixing. That's
But I'm saying that's not going according to Rebbe.
right. The Abba is not going according
So
to
it
Rabbi.
doesn't seem like it's consistent.
Right. The Abba is not going according to Rabbi. Correct. The Raka, why? The Raka could be according to Rabbi. Everybody knows
why
it's
would you
enough.
according to Rebbe in Raka and not in Abba? Why would you pass it that way?
No, it's after we hold that by Raka, it's enough a shinu in the pouring. You don't need a shinu in the mixing. Raka is more kal. You don't need a shinu in the mixing. You only need a shinu in the pouring. It helps a shinu in the pouring. By Abba, it's not going to help you a shinu in the pouring. By Abba, you need a shinu in the mixing also.
Would Rebbe hold that even by Abba you would need a shinu in both the pouring and the mixing?
No, Rebbe holds.
You don't even need it.
No, it doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't help. By Abba, you need a shinu in the mixing. Right? Not in the pouring. But look at that way. By Abba, it doesn't help you a shinu in the pouring. You need more of a shinu in the mixing itself. According to Rebbe, that's too late. According to Rebbe, it's too late. By Raka, let's leave Rebbe out a second. Ava, a shini in the mixing is what you need. In the pouring is not enough. Raka, a shini in the pouring is enough. Right? Now bring Rebbe in. You bring Rebbe in, by Ava, it's not going to help you, a shini. It's too late already. By Raka, where the shini is in the pouring, even according to Rebbe, it's going to help. Alright, I guess we'll finish off next week.